The river and Zhuangzi's lesson. One serene morning, as the first rays of sunlight pierced through the misty air, Zhuangzi, the renowned philosopher, sat on the porch of his humble home. He gazed at the falling autumn leaves, deep in thought. The chirping of birds blended with the earthy fragrance of dew-kissed grass, creating a tranquil atmosphere. It was in this moment that a young man, tall and slender but with eyes clouded by worry, approached hesitantly. "Master," the young man called out, his voice trembling as if weighed down by unseen burdens. "I have traveled far, sought wisdom from many, but my heart remains restless. How can I live a fulfilling life? How can I find peace?" Zhuangzi looked up at the young man. He didn't answer immediately but smiled, a gentle smile that seemed to hold the mysteries of the universe. After a pause, he rose, grabbed his bamboo staff, and gestured for the young man to follow him. "Come with me," he said. The young man, though puzzled, obeyed. They left Zhuangzi's cottage and walked along winding paths surrounded by towering bamboo. The leaves rustled softly in the morning breeze, as if whispering secrets to the heavens. After some time, they arrived at a great river. The water surged and shimmered under the sunlight, its surface sparkling like a cascade of diamonds. "What do you see?" Zhuangzi asked, his voice as calm as the river before them. The young man hesitated, then replied, "I see water, Master. It flows endlessly, never the same from one moment to the next. It is fierce yet, at times, soothingly tranquil." Zhuangzi nodded, stroking his long silver beard. "You are correct. Water is remarkable. But do you know why it flows without ceasing?" The young man shook his head. Zhuangzi smiled, his eyes glimmering with wisdom. "Because that is its nature," he explained. "Water never stops, never complains, never fears. It simply does what it must. It flows. If you wish to live a fulfilling life, you must learn to live like water." "Live like water," the young man repeated, confusion etched on his face. "But how can I, a mere human, live like water when my life is filled with pain and injustice?" Zhuangzi didn't respond. Instead, he walked to the riverbank, picked up a large stone, and dropped it into the current. The water splashed and rippled outward, but soon the river calmed, as though nothing had ever disturbed it. "Did you see?" Zhuangzi asked, his voice merging with the river's gentle murmurs. The water didn't quarrel with the stone. It flowed around it, carved through it, or patiently waited to wear it down over time. It did not resist, nor did it give up. It simply moved forward, being true to itself. The young man stood still, his mind captivated by the imagery. Yet, uncertainty lingered in his heart. "But, Master," he said after a moment, "what if the water is completely blocked? What if it has no path forward?" Zhuangzi chuckled softly, as though he had anticipated this question. "When water finds no path, it creates one," he replied. "It may pool into a lake or rise to the skies as vapor, becoming clouds. But it never ceases to exist. Its adaptability is its greatest strength. Likewise, when life places obstacles in your way, you must adapt. Do not cling to an old form, for sometimes change is the only way to endure." The young man stood in silence, as though the gentle current of the river had carried away his doubts. Yet, deep within him, another fear surfaced. "Master," he murmured, his voice trembling, "how can I let go of what I hold dear? How do I stop fearing loss?" Zhuangzi bent down, picking up a dry leaf that had just fallen by the riverbank. Holding it up against the sunlight, he allowed its delicate veins to glow before gently releasing it into the water. The leaf drifted away, carried by the current, without resistance or regret. "This leaf once belonged to a tree," Zhuangzi said, his voice as light as the breeze. "But when its time came, it fell, without clinging or despairing. It lets the river carry it forward, for it understands that everything has its season. If you wish to live like water, you must learn to let go. Do not hold on to what is no longer meant to stay, for it will only weigh you down." The young man lowered his gaze, a profound sense of understanding washing over him. He looked at the river again, and for the first time, he didn't just see water, he saw life itself. A relentless flow of meetings and partings, of challenges and transformations. He realized that to find peace, he didn't need to fight life, but to embrace it, as water embraces its journey. Zhuangzi rose, dusting off his robes, and turned to leave. Before departing, he glanced back and smiled warmly. "The river has taught you all you need to know," he said. "The rest is up to you. Live like water, ceaseless, adaptable, and powerful in its humility. When you do, you will find freedom." The young man stood by the riverbank long after Zhuangzi had left. He watched the water flow, listened to its whispers, and felt a newfound serenity take root in his heart. From that day forward, he no longer feared difficulties, nor did he cling to the past. He lived like water, resilient, flexible, and always moving forward. And indeed, just as the river flows onward, his life began to change. No longer searching for happiness in distant places, he realized that peace and fulfillment had always been within him, waiting to be unlocked by the wisdom of the flowing river. The lesson of the river, Zhuangzi's river, is more than a natural phenomenon, it is a metaphor for our lives. Through it, he teaches us the power of adaptability, patience, and letting go. To live like water is to flow with life's currents, to face obstacles with grace, and to find freedom and acceptance. In doing so, we discover that true peace is not found in resisting life's changes, but in embracing them, just as water embraces its journey.